Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 37th tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we are going to wrap up our discussion on numeric functions. We're going to have a look at 4 functions, and not all of them are important, but I just thought that I should have at least one more tutorial on numeric functions, and then in the next tutorial we are going to kickstart our discussion on string functions, right? So the first one that we're going to have a look at is the radians function, and what this does is it takes in a number, and it's basically a function to convert degrees to radians, right? So if you want to, if like some number, some degree like 70 degrees or 180 degrees, and if you want to know the pi equivalent of that, then you can use this function. So you type in select and then the name of the function, which as I said is radians, and then within parentheses you type in your degree argument. So if you want to know the equivalent of 180 degrees in number terms, that would be 3.14, right? Because we know that 180 degrees is pi and the value of pi is 3.14. So that's about the radians function, and it's not something that you would use a lot, but you can just have it in your function list, and maybe you would be required to use it a couple of times. The next function that we're gonna look at is the square root function, and this is a very useful function. So if you want to calculate the square root of, let's say, 196, and you type in 196 within parentheses and you press Control Enter, and you would get 14 as the answer in the result set, right? So square of 14 is 196, and if suppose you want to check for 225, then you just replace 225 there. Oh, what happened there? Yeah, so you would get 15 as the answer. And it's not that this function can just accept whole number arguments. You can also pass in fractional arguments like 225.65438, and it would still give you an answer. So there you go, the square root of this number is 15.0218, and some more digits after that. The next function that we're going to check out is even more useful. It's the truncate function, and you must have guessed it. What it does is it truncates, right? So if suppose you have a long number and you want to chop it off, and by that I mean if you want to see only few digits after the decimal point, let's say for this number, it's got how many digits? It's got 4 digits after the decimal point, and let's say in the result set if you just want to see 2, right? So then you put a comma after the number, and then you type in the number of digits that you want to see after the decimal point. So if I type in 2 here, I would just see 225.65, right? And this is different from round. It's not rounding off the number, it's just ignoring any more digits that are there after the number of digits that are passed in as the second argument, right? So if suppose you want to see 3 digits, let's make this number longer first, right? So if you want to see 5 digits maybe, then you can see now that we have 225.65485. So there are exactly 5 digits after the decimal point. So that's what truncate is. And the last function that we're going to have a look at is the random function, or RAND. You don't type in random completely, but just RAND with parentheses after RAND. So what this function does is it generates a random number, right? You cannot tell what it's going to generate. It uses some complex algorithm in the back end to come up with the some number, and I won't say that it generates a different number every time. It could generate the same number like in successive times, but in good probability it's going to generate a different number every time. And it's something that you could use if you're having a quiz or something. If you're making a game, then this is a function that you might use sometimes. So that's it for now. As I said, this should be enough for numeric functions. In the next tutorial we are going to check out some string functions, and you may subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you soon.